While the Trudeau Liberals failed spectacularly in their attempt to implement sweeping electoral reform nationally without the support of a referendum, British Columbians will be voting on electoral reform for the third time in 13 years next November. The BC NDP and Greens have long wanted to see changes to the way we currently elect our members of the legislature, which is using the first-past-the-post system synonymous with the Westminster parliamentary model. In 2005 and 2009, British Columbians rejected a switch from a first-past-the-post system to a single transferable vote, or STV system. In 2005, the referendum was narrowly defeated after requiring 60% threshold when 58% of voters supported a change. But in 2009, that enthusiasm dimmed to just 39%. STV is confusing, and it involves using a ranked ballot. In 2018, British Columbians will have one or more options for the type of electoral form available to them, according to Attorney General David Eby. The Globe and Mail reports Eby stated in an interview that this third referendum would be the final say on electoral reform in BC. Quote, "The goal is to provide British Columbians with a very clear opportunity to state their preference about where they want to go. I just have a hard time imagining, coming out of a process like that there could be any further discussion to be had," unquote. Now, Conservatives might immediately have a knee-jerk reaction to oppose electoral reform. And when it came to changes federally, the Trudeau Liberals and Minister Miriam Monsef attempted to do so without giving Canadians the choice of a referendum, and without much discussion during the 2015 campaign either, so it was understandable. But things in BC are much different. The BC Liberal Party is in theory a coalition between federal Liberals and Conservatives. But for many Conservatives, they've been drifting too far to the centre or the left. And with only one identifiable Conservative in Diane Watts among the 6 currently running to succeed Christy Clark as BC Liberal leader, Conservatives may not feel like they have a home here in BC provincially. Electoral reform, therefore, represents an opportunity for a true blue Conservative Party in BC to gain a larger voice, win seats, and possibly even hold the balance of power one day, which may enable them to force the BC Liberals or NDP to adopt some of their policies, whether it be in a coalition government or in a minority legislature. So it comes as little surprise that the BC Conservative Party has officially endorsed electoral reform. The much maligned party has been shut out of the legislature since the 1979 election. And despite having a former federal cabinet minister in John Cubbins leading the party in the 2013 election, they were only able to gain 4.8% of the vote. But there are also reasons to be wary of reforming the way we vote. If BC were to go to a straight proportional representation system as many social democracies in Europe use, and as many activist groups like Lead Now are pushing for, that could disenfranchise the rural portions of the province and swing all the power down to the populous lower mainland of Metro Vancouver. With over 50% of the province living in Metro Vancouver, many rural communities up north, in the interior, and on Vancouver Island will see their voice dimmed under proportional representation. But it also lends to coalition governments, which are rather ineffective with too many differing opinions, squabbles, arguments, and compromises, so it means that no one agenda or idea ever seems to advance meaningfully. And just look at Italy and how they've had 40 changes in their prime minister since World War II ended due to the instability of coalitions. So while a coalition may see a Conservative Party wield more power and influence in BC than they ever have in decades, the instability of coalitions in countries that use proportional representation isn't something to be desired. And I'll remind you, it also gives a foothold to fringe parties. And if you think that the NDP and Greens are as far left as some would go in this province, well, get ready to what comes under proportional representation. It's all going to come down to the options and choices on the ballot, something Attorney General Eby said will be decided over the coming months through public consultations. For the Rebel.media, I'm Christopher Wilson. Thanks a lot for watching. You know, the #1 way you can support The Rebel is becoming a premium member. And in fact, we've got a lot of new shows that have just debuted over the last couple months. So go check it out, therebel.media/shows. Become a premium member and support conservative and independent journalism around the world.